So, hi guys. Good evening, guys. All of you. Are you audible? Okay, right, guys. And in the last session, so we started normalization, right? And I think the first normal form technique we completed, no? First and second also we completed, huh? So normalization in the technique wise, okay, two techniques we completed, I think so. So first normal and second normal, right? Partial dependency and dependencies. Yeah, third one, yes. So up to two normalizations and normalization techniques we completed, right? Okay, the third technique here, observe guys now. Okay, right. So the third technique is called as 3D, 3NF, third normal form. And when your table should be in third normal form, okay, for a table to be in the third normal form, again there is two conditions we need to satisfy. Okay, so there is two conditions. There are two conditions. Okay, now. So one is we called as that here. Your table should be in the second normal form. Second normal form means what we said. There is no partially dependency columns. There is no partially dependency columns. Okay, now? So that should not be there. That is called a second normal form. And along with that, what the next one is, and it should not have transitive dependency. Okay, it should not have transitive dependency. Okay, so first thing is your table should satisfy second normal technique. That means no partial dependency columns. And the next one is what now? They should not have a transitive dependency problems. They should not have transitive dependency. Suppose we have it transitive dependency problems. Okay, na? So that should not be habit.
Recording in progress.
Okay, na? So transitive dependency problem should not be there. So, and before you want to know about the transitive dependency, first of all, we will check out here what is transitive dependency actually. So in a table, if non-key column, non-key means non-primary key columns. Non-primary key column depends on, okay, non-primary key column depends on another non-primary key column, then it is called as a transitive dependency. Okay, na? So transitive dependency is nothing but what, no? Okay, in a table, if a non-key column, non-key means non-primary key column, depends on another non-primary key column in the table, then your table is having transitive dependency problem. Okay, then your table is having transitive dependency problem. Okay, now, so below the example statement you can see. So in this example, A, B, C, D, here A and B are key columns. So composite primary key columns, A and B. Okay. So that means A and B primary key columns, and C and D, these two are non-primary key columns. These two are non-primary key columns, right? Okay, now. Then what it was happened, you can see C, comma D are non-primary key columns. Then D depends on C, but not A and B. So that means D is a non-primary key column, depends on C. C also non-primary key column. But D should not depend on A and B because A and B is a primary key columns. Because A and B is a primary key columns. Okay, now, right? Now, let us see. For example, one database example, observe. Suppose one table was there, score table, guys, here. In this score table, okay, we have some columns, student ID, subject ID, marks, examination name, and total marks. Okay, now in this table, student ID and subject ID both are composite primary key columns. So that means these two columns are student ID, subject ID, both are composite primary key columns. Okay, right. And remaining non-primary key columns, how many are there remaining? Marks, examination name, and total marks. Marks, examination name, and total marks. Okay, now so these are non-primary key columns. Okay, so in this, suppose marks column is there. Marks column is always depends on student and subject. Okay, now so because marks, how to get marks means, if I want to get a marks means student is required and subject also there. So student subject, when it was having marks, will be get it. Okay, now so that means marks column is depending on composite primary key columns. Okay, and two columns it was depending, that means it is a fully dependency. That means it is a fully dependency. So fully dependency is nothing problem. Okay, now, and so next column is what now? Examination name. Examination name is depending on, okay, examination name is depending on subject. Yes or no? So subject wise examination name is there, like social examination, science examination, mathematics examination. Okay, so that means examination name also depending on subject ID as well as student, because student is required to write exam and subject is also required to write exam. So this is also dependency, fully dependency. But come to total marks. Now tell me, guys, here total marks is a one non-primary key column. Now tell me, total marks is depending on, okay, depending on student, subject, marks, or else examination name. What is your guessing, guys? Total marks is depending on marks column or examination name column. Any guessing, guys? Carefully observe. Carefully observe. Okay, and practically observe. Suppose, like you can think, suppose you are a CSC branch student, triple E students, mechanical students, civil students are there. So many different branches people are there. Now think. You are all different branches people. Total marks is depends on what? Carefully think what I'm telling guys here. Different branches, different qualification, different educationals we have it. But your total marks, it's depending on what? Examination name or marks. Examination name is representing what now? Types of exams. Okay, for example, suppose I will give some clarity on this. For example, suppose CSC student is there. CSC student, okay, for example, as he is a semester wise, suppose he was having subject 1, subject 2, subject number 3, subject number 4, subject number 5. So total 5 subjects are there. Suppose mechanical student, he was having subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4 was there. Like a civil student, okay, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3 is there. Okay, so different branches. But in this CSC branch people, there are total 5 subjects are. So in 5 subjects, subject 1 is having theory examination plus practical examination was there. So 2 papers are there, practical examination, theory examination and practical examination. So theory plus practical, this subject total marks is 100. Okay, be careful now, understand that your total marks is depending on examination name, because some subjects are having practicals and theory. Some subjects are having only practicals but not theory. Some subjects are having only theory but not practicals. So that means it's a depending on your examination's name. Okay, your total marks will be changed. For example, subject 1 is having theory plus practical. Theory plus practical. Okay, now. So theory plus practical. Theory plus practical. Okay. So theory plus practical, then total marks is what now, guys? Here, total marks is how much? Come on. Total marks. Okay. Total marks how much here? Okay, one subject is having 100 marks. That is called a total marks. But this total marks will be depending on what? Exam, type of exam or examination name. So examination name is what? Theory examination, practical examination. So based on theory and practical, your total marks is 100. For example, subject number 2. This subject is having only theory. Okay, now so this total mark is 75,000. Another subject is there. This subject is having only theory. Then it was having 100 marks. Only theory. Okay, so this is having 100 marks. Suppose another subject is there. This subject is having practicals only. Then practical is having 50 marks. Okay, 50 marks. This subject is having again. Okay, the subject is having again. So theory plus practical. Okay, theory plus practical. Again, it was having 150 marks. So now what it was happened, guys, here, based on okay, based on your examination name, your total marks will be changes. Okay, because some subjects are having theory plus practical, some subjects are having only theory, some subjects are having theory plus workshop. Okay, so this kind of different examinations, okay, we are going to be attending. So internal examination, external examination, practical examination, lab examinations, okay, now so many. So lab examinations are there. Some subject is having theory plus lab. Okay, lab examination marks, theory examination marks. Okay, now. So it means what you understand, guys, here. Okay, depending on your examination name, your total marks will be changing as per your subjects. Okay, as per your subjects. Okay, now. So it means what you understand, guys, here. Okay, in this table, total marks column is depending on examination name, not a student. Okay, it was depending on examination name. Okay, that point is given here. With examination name and total marks added to our score table, it saves more data now. Okay, just observe explanation I was given. So explanation I was given below, and here observe primary key for our score table is a composite primary key, which means we made up two attributes a column, that is student ID, subject ID. So our new column is examination name, depends on both. Examination name depends on both student and subject. So student and subject, that is examination name is depending on student and subject. Okay, for example, mechanical engineering students will have a workshop exam, but a computer science students are not having. Carefully observe. Mechanical engineering students are having workshop examination, but computer science students are not having workshop examination. Okay, now so that's what. And what next I'm saying, for some subjects you have a practical exams, and for some subjects you don't have a practical exams. Okay, now so some subjects you have a practical exams, some subjects are we don't have a practical exams. So that means what happened here, so we can say that examination name is depending on both student and subject ID, but our second column's total marks doesn't, or does, it depends on our score table as a primary key. Okay, so this point is not necessary for you. Okay, right. So now, well, the column total marks is depending on examination name, because as with exam type, your total score will be changed. As your exam type, that means type of examination, theory exam, practical, workshop, lab, so different, yes or no? So based on your examination type, your total marks will be changing. Okay, so that is a simply, for example, practicals are having less marks, theory exams are having more marks, then automatically your total marks will be changed. Yes or no? So practicals are less, 25, theory 75, then total 100. Okay, some subject only theory 75, some subject only practical 50, some subject only theory 100. So like examination type, that is called a name, type of examination name, or type of examination name. Understand here, total marks is depending on examination type. On the type of examination, your total marks will be changed. Practical exam, this is one type of exam. Practical exams are having less marks. Then theory exams are, this is another type of exam. Theory exams are having more marks, like workshop examination, lab examinations. So every type of examination, their total. For example, practical examination, total marks how much? 25 marks. Theory examination, total marks how much here? 75 marks. Then total subject, that means including practical and theory, then you're saying 100. But individually can see, practical exams 25 marks, Practical exams total how much? 25. Theory exam total how much? 75. So you have to depending like this. Okay, you have to depending like this. Practical is one type of exam. So practical exam based on exam type, your practical exam total marks is 25 marks. So changing. Okay, right. It was changing. So practice what happened is type, your total marks will be changing. Okay, right. So guys, my voice is clear now. Are you audible? Are you audible? Are you audible? Now it's okay now. Okay, fine, fine. What I said, so based on type of examination, total marks are changing. So sometimes we are asking, we are telling like this, sir, my total practical marks are this much, theory marks are this much. So we are telling that, yes or no? So that's why your total marks always depending on type of examination. So that means finally what it was happening in the table, total marks is depends on examination name. But tell me guys, your examination name is a primary key or non-primary key? Is it primary key or non-primary key? Yes, it is a non-primary key. So if it is a non-primary, that means total marks is also non-primary key column. So a non-primary key column is depending on another non-primary key column. So that means now tell me, your score table is having transitive dependency problem. Yes. So now this score table is having transitive dependency problem is there. That means a non-primary key column total marks is depending on another non-primary key column. Another non-primary key column. Okay, now so this is called as a transitive dependency. What is the mean by transitive dependency? In a table, a non-primary key column is depending on another non-primary key column is called as a transitive dependency. So now the definition understand. What is your transitive dependency? In a table, if non-key column depends on another non-key column is called as a transitive dependency. But as a third form, as a third rule, what it was telling, your table should not have a transitive dependency. Your table should not have a transitive dependency. But unfortunately, my table is having transitive dependency problem is there. Okay, now because a total marks is a non-primary key column. This non-primary key column is depending on another non-primary key column that is called examination name. So that means in your score table, we have a transitive dependency columns are having. But when your table is having transitive dependency columns, then the table is not satisfied your third normalization technique. Okay, na? So if your table is having transitive dependency columns are there in the table, then the table is not comes under third normalization form. Okay, na? Right. So then what we want to do? Now the question is how to remove transitive dependency problem. So very simple, very simple. Okay, so what we can do here, so I'm giving here. So again, the solution is same, very simple. Take out the columns examination name and total marks from score table and put them in exam table. Okay, now so take out whatever the transitive dependency columns are there in your table. Those columns you just take from score table, take from a table and put into another table, okay na? So now we can see, this is score table, student id, subject id, marks is there. But here which columns are there remaining? Examination name, total marks are there. Those columns I removed from score table. And kept into another table. The table is called exam table. In exam table, what I'm giving here? Examination ID, examination name, and total marks. Okay, now so here that means whatever the transitive dependency columns are there in the score table, those columns are I removed from score table and kept into another new table. I just kept into that. So that means I'm creating one more new table. In this new table, I kept my examination name and total marks along with the examination ID column. Then this examination ID is called a primary key, and here examination ID is called as a foreign key. Then foreign key and primary key making a relationship. Okay, now so this is how to remove transitive dependency problems when it was having the type of columns in your table. Just remove those kind of columns from your table and keep into and separate a table you can create and keep into that. After that, one common column should be prepared, okay, and make relationship based on that common column. Okay, so now you are in score table, whatever transitive dependencies are there, and that problem is successfully we overcome. So now my score table is satisfied. Third normalization form, because in my score table there is no transitive dependency columns. So that's why, so the problem is we avoided. Okay, na? So this is third law will be telling us, guys. Yeah, this is what third law will be telling us, or third normal form is telling us. Okay, and the next one is Boy's code normal form. The next one is Boy's code normal form. Okay, right. So what is Boy's code normal form? Now you can observe. For a table to satisfy the Boy's code normal form, it should satisfy the following two conditions. One is your table should be in the third normal form. It means that your table should not contain transitive dependency problems. Okay. Second one is what now? For any dependency, A to B, then A should be super key. B to A, then B should be super key. Understand? Na? Second rule is what it was telling. First rule, your table should satisfy the third normal form. Third normal form means what now? There is no transitive dependency columns. Okay, right. And the second one is what now? Dependency. Any dependency A to B, then A should be super key. Suppose if B depends on A, then B should be super key. Okay, so here the new word is what now? Super key. What is super key? The new statement is what now here? Super key. What is super key? Let you come on. Definitions of the. Now, super key and candidate key definitions of the. Super key definition, carefully observe, guys. A column A column means single column. A column means what now? Single column. So a column or combination of columns which are uniquely identifying a row in a table is called as a super key. Okay, na? So carefully, definition careful of the a column. A column means a single column or else combination of columns. Either single column or combination of columns are identifying. Columns are identifying a row in unique manner. A row in unique manner, then it is called as a super key. Okay, for example, let you come to see my table guys here. Student table, carefully observe. In student table, student ID was there, for example. This student ID column values, you can see this column is having some values now. 101, 102, 103, 104. So that means, can I say guys here, student ID column, a column, that is student ID column, is identifying each row with a unique number, yes or no? Total 4 rows are there. The 4 rows are identifying with unique number or duplicate number. Every row is identifying with unique number or duplicate number. Unique number, because total 4 rows are there. This is first row. This is first row. First row, student ID number what? 101. Second row, student ID 102. Third row, student ID 103. Fourth row, student ID 104. So now tell me, student ID column, whatever it was going to be represented, this representations with unique numbers. So that means it is a satisfied. That means it is a satisfied. Can I say student ID column is a super key column? Can I say student ID column is a super key column? Yes, we can. Okay, yes, we can. So here, super key means what now? A single column or combination of columns. A single column or combination of columns are identifying a row with a unique number, with uniqueness. Then only that column is called a super key. Now, student ID is a only single column. Okay, no problem. It is a single column. But each and every row, student ID number, you can check, there is no duplicates. There is no duplicates. And of course, every student ID is a unique number only there in real time. Is it possible, guys? Two students' ID numbers are same. Is it possible? Yes. So that means I can say here, observe. Super key columns. Okay. In the level 1. So what is this? Student ID. Student ID column comes under super key column. Okay, fine. Because every row is a unique number identified. Okay, right, satisfied. Next, come to name column. Come on, guys. Can I say name column is a super key column? No, because there is a chance to have a both student name is same. Yeah. So in a classroom, maybe the both students' names are same. Okay, that kind of chances are there. In a company, there are both employee names are same. Okay, now so that's why here observe name column here Sai and Sai So duplicates are there. So that means name is not a super key column. Like in the Go for branch, branch is also having CSC. So branch column is also not a super key. Next, mail ID. Come to tell me guys here. Mail ID, can I say it is a super key column? Yes. Yes, we can say. So why we can say means every student mail ID uniqueness. And tell me one thing. Is there any possibility or is there any chance was there the both users are having same ID? No, impossible. No, impossible. So that means, can I say mail ID is also one super key column in this table? Mail ID is also one super key column in this table, right? Next one. Registration number. Registration number, can I say it is a super key column? Yes, we can say. Yes, we can say. Yes, we can say because every student registration number is different. Every student registration number is different. Yes or no? Yes. So that means registration number is also called as a one super key column. So that means in my student table, which table? Student table, how many super key columns are there, guys? Three. So these are individually a single columns, each individually a single column. Values are identifying your rows with a unique number, with unique data. That's why these three columns are called as super key columns. This is level 1. Level 2, what it was, guys, here in level 2. Super key column plus super key column is equals to. So any two super key columns are again super key. Okay, so super key, again super key. Super key, again super key. So that means, can I say like this? In level number 2, STID plus mail ID. Can I say super key this combination? Can I say now? Super key column plus super key column. Yes, we can say super key. Like now, mail ID plus registration number. Can I say super key columns? Can I say super key columns? Yes. Now, registration number plus student ID. Can I say super key columns? Okay, right. This is level 2. Level number 3. Level number 3, what happened? Super key column plus super key column plus super key column is equals to again super key. Again super key. Okay, now? Now can I say student ID plus mail ID plus registration number? 3 combination of super key columns. Can I say super key again? Okay, now? Right. So this is okay. So that means what you understand, guys, here, any 2 super key columns, again super key only. Any 2 or more than 2. Any 2 or more than 2 super key columns are again super key. Level 1 individual, level 2 any 2 combination, level 3 combination. But one point is, remember, every super key plus super key is super key only. So super key definition understand now? Okay, now? Right. So this is super key column definition, guys. Okay, this is super key column definition. Understanding my point now? Right. So now super key definition, this one. Now, what is candidate key? Observe. What is candidate key? Carefully observe. So candidate key means what now? A minimal super key is which is uniquely identifying. A minimal means minimum. A minimum or minimal, a super key which is uniquely identifying a row in a table is called as a candidate key. Is called as a candidate key. Okay, or else a super key which is subset of another super key. A super key which is subset of another super key is called as a candidate key. Is called as a candidate key. But the combination of super keys are not a candidate key. Guys, understanding my point? But okay, the combination of super keys is not a candidate key. But what it was saying, minimal super key which is uniquely identifying a row, then it is called a super key. Otherwise, a super key which is a subset of another super key is called as a candidate key. But the combination of super keys are not a candidate key. Okay, key. And now tell me, in these three levels, which is minimum level? Level 1 or level 2 or level 3? Which is minimal? Minimal means individually. So every individual super key column is called as a candidate key. Simple. Candidate key. So what is our candidate key? Every super key individual column is called as a candidate key. So that means student ID, one candidate key, mail ID, one candidate key, registration number is candidate key. But what we said, A super key plus super key, can I say candidate key? No, because a super key combination with a super key, it again super key only, na? Super key plus super key is again super key, right? Okay, right. So this is what. So these are candidate key. But finally, the conclusion is what now? Observe. These super keys or candidate keys, whatever it was there, finally, these all are called as a these are super key primary. What it means, these are all are called as a primary key only. So primary key can be called as what we can be called as here, we can be called as okay, simple primary key. We can be called as candidate key or candidate primary key, or else we are called as a composite primary key, or else we are called as a super key. Carefully observe. A primary key can be called as a simple primary, candidate, composite, and super. Okay, but the way of the applying primary key on number of columns in a table, the way of applying your constants, okay, on your requirements, based on that, that name will be changed. Okay, for example, when we define a primary key on a single column, then it is called as a simple primary key. Then it is called as a candidate key. Then it is called as a super key. Then it is called as a super key. Okay. So simple primary key, candidate key, super key, whatever you can call, that is called different names. Primary key having different names. So whatever it was there, so these are all comes under candidate keys, simple key, and super key. When we apply primary key on your single column. So when you apply primary key on a single column, these are the names. But the same thing, guys, here suppose. Okay, now when we define a primary key on multiple columns, okay, when you define, so then it is called as what now? Composite primary key and super key. Understanding now, guys, here. So when a primary key can be applied on a single column, then it is called as a simple primary key or candidate or super key. But when you defined a primary key on multiple columns, then only be called as a composite or super key. Okay, na? Composite or super key. So this is what the final conclusion of a candidate as well as super key. Okay, na? Right. So as per this definition, what is your third normal form telling us? For a table to be satisfied in third normal form, first one is what now? Your table should supporting transitive dependency, should not have a transitive dependency. And second one is what now? We are sending for any dependency, these are the two conditions satisfied, then only be called as a your table is having here in which one? Okay, so third normalization form. Okay, na? Third normalization form. Sorry. What is called voice code in third normal base. So when these two conditions are satisfied, then only your table is comes under voice code normal form. So now today we discuss what about super we discuss. Okay. And now based on this definition of super key, okay, we will see example, but that example I will show you tomorrow best. So tomorrow I will go for example, and tomorrow we will complete a PLSQL, SQL part. And if it is possible, I started tomorrow PLSQL language. Okay, now, right, guys. Okay, right, guys. Thank you so much.